Hello, my name is Danielle Jameson, and I'm here to talk about Oscar Wilde and the three trials. So Oscar Wilde was a celebrity in London in the late 19th century. He had a wife, 2 kids, but he was secretly a homosexual. Later on, he found, or he met, a man named Lord Alfred Douglas. He was 22, and Oscar Wilde was 38. They had a relationship together, which they went and traveled. They wrote letters, they exchanged gifts, different things like that. And then Douglas wanted Wilde to meet his father. So they did. They had a good time together. And then later on, he found out that he was having a relationship with his son. And he didn't like that. And he threatened them, told them to stop seeing each other, or he would, do different things to him. Then it got to the point where he sent him this note saying, "For Oscar Wilde, posing sodomite." And Oscar didn't like that, so he took him to court and was charged with libel. On April 3rd, that was when the first trial was, in 1895. Edward Clark prosecuted for Wilde, and Edward Carson defended Queensberry. That was his father. When it was the first opening statements were made by Clark, and then next it was Carson who brought a letter written from Wilde to Douglas to light, and Clark admitted that it was an extravagant letter, but he was a poet, so it shouldn't be taken very literally. But then Carson was doing his cross-examination. He asked him about the letter, and he just blew it off, didn't even, give any good answers. But then he asked him about his relationships, and that's when Wilde got really scared or uncomfortable. He didn't really give any good answers when he asked him about different gifts that he gave these young men that they have as a witness against him. But then a few days later that he drops the case, Clark drops the case about libel from Queensberry, and Wilde is charged with 25 counts of gross indecency. The trial came, and the first trial came, and he asked him to acquit Wilde, and they couldn't come up with a verdict, so they had a hung jury. But then later on, he was proven guilty against him for 25 counts of gross indecency and conspiracy to commit. And he was in jail. He was arrested and was put in jail for 2 years, which is the max sentence for gross indecency charge. He was then released in 1897, but then he died 3 years later in Paris, France in 1900.